This episode is brought to you by Thor's Ice Cream, the best ice cream menu in Billingham. Find them at the rink on game days and pick from their range of amazing desserts, including the Biscoff brownie and the famous whippy trays, with a choice of amazing toppings. Supporters of the Stars and Buccaneers and proud partners of STARCAST. Find Thor's Ice Cream on social media.
This is STARCAST, the official podcast of the Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the latest news from the Big Red Machine.
Hello again, welcome to STARCAST, the official podcast of your Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars. Here for Wednesday, the 18th of March. Hope you survived St. Patrick's Day. We're back for another week to talk all things Bid Rig Machine. An away win in Solihull. Yes, you heard it, an away win in Solihull and a Deeside doubleheader to finish the regular season. That's on the agenda for your Billingham Stars. Got a few other bits to talk about as well. All the results and tables heading into the final week of the regular season. Playoffs just around the corner, and on Sunday we get to go to Billingham Forum and have a home game. Been a while. See if we can remember how to get there and what to do, but more on that later. Carol and Jono are here with me to talk all things as usual. Jono, as we said last week, is heading past just south, further south than even Redcar and Yarm, so please to dial in from location, Jono. And Carol, always welcome. I hope you're both well this week.
Good afternoon. Yeah, not bad.
Fantastic. We'll get straight to it. The penultimate game of the longest road trip in the world for your Billingham Stars was on Sunday down to Solihull, and it was a 5-3 win over the Solihull Barons at Hobbs Moat Road. Goals from Roland Grittans, Ian Brown, James Moss, Callum Wilkinson, and Tom Wakefield. For the Barons, 2 from Adams and Nicholas Otterson with a 1 as well. But a well-deserved road win for your Stars. A second successive road win as well. So on a bit of a streak here as the season comes to an end. Carol, you want to talk us through what you saw first of all? We've had your post-game from Foz. Again, a well-deserved and a complete performance from the Billingham Stars, which is what we've been asking for and shouting for the last few weeks.
Oh, very much so. I'm very, very glad that I'm sat here not sounding the same as I have done in every single week for the previous God knows how long. It was about as close to a complete performance as you could have wished for. Kind of ripped up the game plan last week in training and went with completely new forward and defensive combinations. So kind of a bit what's the word I'm looking for? A bit nervous going into the game, because obviously that can go badly if it doesn't stick. So I was kind of a little nervous when I saw the lines, but shouldn't have really. I just seemed to inject some of that energy and intensity that we've been missing, and they really just took the game to Solihull for the full 60. It was first time I've seen us play like that for quite a while. So the changes seem to have worked, and at exactly the right time as well, given the role that Solihull have been on. This is no mean feat, and we tend not to play terribly well when we go down there. Let's be absolutely brutal. We're usually on the wrong end of a result down there. So it was very refreshing to see. Everybody put in full shifts. Nobody really had a night off. We made Graham Laverick work hard, because obviously he's one of our hoodoo netminders as well. He usually has a really good game against us, and he had another good game on Sunday. But we just found a way to pull him about a bit and find a way past him. So all in all, a really, really good performance, and just at the right time as well. Obviously, we don't know who our quarterfinal opponents are going to be in the playoffs yet, but it may well still be Solihull, and if it is, then we've definitely put something in their heads there. I think the only kind of, it wasn't even a downside, because you have to look at it positively. The only thing that you can, the big incident of the game is Stats getting tossed for fighting. But I have to say, I know we're going to talk about this a little bit more detail later. That was an entirely justified penalty. He took it. He took it upon himself to right a wrong. Lewis Allen has delivered a massive check to Ethan's head. Referee wasn't going to call it, and he absolutely wasn't going to call it. His arm was not up, so Stats delivered some justice. And they had a conflab afterwards, and suddenly Lewis Allen with the lovely hair gets the penalty that he deserves. But if Darren hadn't stepped in, that penalty was never going to get called, which is wrong. But we wait to see what the answers are from that. It was a really good game, quite feisty. Everybody stuck up for each other. I think that pretty much sums it up. It was great.
Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
The goals at the right time as well. We scored it. I mean, there's never a wrong time to score a goal, but we always seem to. There was a couple of times Solihull looked like they were getting back into it, and they came back to 2-1. We made it 3-1. We scored one late in the third, late in the second, just to kind of keep edging ahead. So goals at the right time, and that's been, let's say, a strong 60-minute performance. Greetings to our Solihull listeners, by the way. Hello.
Hi.
Jono, your thoughts, obviously from afar, but you've been tuned in and keeping abreast of all the goings on.
Yeah. Never easy following on game updates, because obviously you wouldn't know how the team are playing, what things are like. And I managed to have a little chat with Fozzie yesterday, kind of just giving me a little rundown of how the game went. And I was just saying, yeah, he hoping I was relaxing actually. And I was like, it's not easy when you're trying to follow on dates. He goes, when you get a referee like Ryder, you just don't know what's going to happen next. I said, you're funny, you should say that. And but no, it was interesting to hear Carol's thoughts on the Statsfield incident, because I think there's been many a time where he's went to let loose and we've all screamed him back saying, no, please don't. But from the images that have come out today, I mean, very just. The elbow to the head is as clear as anything that you'll ever see. If it wasn't called, then Darren's policed the game and done what Darren does so well. So fair play to him. We may get on the wrong end of the punishment, but I think the lads would probably appreciate him stepping up and standing up for, I think it was Ethan in that scenario, because obviously he got no protection from a headshot from the officiating, which has probably been my biggest bugbear this year. As for the team performance, I was kind of expecting something, whether it was going to be a win or maybe a nicking something in overtime or late. The lads trained really well Thursday with the new lines. Me and Carol had a little discussion. I knew Carol had a little bit of nerves in her with the line changes that were made on Thursday, but they all seemed to came off buzzing. Fozzie came off really happy with what was put in, and they looked like they really enjoyed it themselves with the new combinations. And I think all the combinations scored at the weekend as well. So they've kind of hit the ground running, and they're probably the president for the playoff running. We do have a difficult couple of games next week. No games worth nothing. But no, it's probably a big weekend for Stars fans looking at other results to see where we go in the playoffs. But Solihull, never an easy place to go. Even if we were 15-0 and they were 0-15, Solihull is never an easy place to go. Like I say, it's dark, miserable, it's the nets, it's intimidating, the fans get on top of you. They do everything they can to help their team, and maybe that's what Alan was trying to do. He was trying to jump on the back of the fans, set a tone, and just went too far. But no, a great result. Great result at any point of the season.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the line changes in training. I think all of us, Carol, we kind of got there at the same time, and we saw Mike in a yellow sweater, and we're thinking, what? Like, he's never in a yellow sweater. Like
that still looks wrong. Sorry.
But whatever the reasons, whatever the thoughts behind it, the proof of the pudding is a solid performance and the 3 points back on the bus to Billingham on Sunday night.
Yeah, I'll hold my hands up. I saw Mikey in that yellow jersey. Quite apart from the fact it does look wrong, you're going to have to go with that. It looks wrong. I saw him in the different jerseys.
No to Alan. No to Alan. Never get yellow jerseys.
Yeah. Well, but no, I'll freely admit I was a little nervous because we've seen it before, not just with Billingham but with other teams over the years. You change the lines and nothing works, can't find it nice. It can backfire massively, and especially this late in the season, it is a bit of a risk to take, but on this occasion it's absolutely paid off. I mean, every single line was working really well. Don't know what Rowley he'd eaten during the week, but he obviously had his Weetabix because he was on one. But I don't need to just pick out Rowley. He could have picked out anybody really. Everybody had great games. So yeah, on this occasion, my nerves were ill-founded. I should have trusted the process, as our captain once said. Should have trusted the process, and it worked. Yeah.
We'll and see. We'll turn up to training this week and see who's in what colour sweaters again. So play that game on Thursday night. You mentioned obviously you're not going to single anybody out. I do want to pick on our last goal scorer, Tom Wakefield, his first Stars goal of the season. Set away down the wing. What a very nice finish it was through Laverick as well. So we've seen that on social. John, you've seen that on social?
Yeah, seen it. Yeah. Thankfully, it's always good to get an excitable player's father who likes to record their actions, and it's always good because obviously we don't really get the highlights packages that we used to get off. Was it Drop the Puck? We used to do that highlights package once a week. Yeah, I kind of miss that. So we don't get to see what's going on in other games as much. So yeah, it's good to see when people do record bits that they do. But yeah, a lovely goal. Obviously, you get to be at a decent angle for videoing when you're a fan at Solihull. So you're at ice level and followed him in, came in over his left shoulder in a great finish to Lav's right side. I mean, we built Lav up like who was Patrick Waugh last week. He's probably calling us worse than God knows what now after that. But no, to score a goal like that, it has to be a special shot because he is a great netminder. And no, it was a very good finish for Waka, who is probably not got many games under his belt that he would have liked this year for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Evening Graham as well, another Solihull-based listener. It was great to see Tom. As I say, he's had limited opportunities with the Stars, as John says, for reasons. But he's part of that third line. It's more than a line, isn't it? There's like 3 or 4 of them in that third line mix, and they all work their balls off, as it were, to use an expression, and they all work really hard and get there. And to see Tom net one, the 5th one, the insurance marker, as it were, 5 minutes to go, when Solihull were pressing a bit, which we knew they would, and it was fantastic to see put the seal on the win. Graham Laverick, you mentioned, still made 31 saves, so he's still busy. Shout out as well to Jacob on his birthday.
Happy birthday.
So for reasons, again, it will be Jacob's birthday every weekend for the rest of the season. Happy birthday, Jacob, next Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, Jacob 44, including a very busy second period, but again, putting the work on at the back to kind of give the team a chance, which is what we want them to do, and the defense in front and the forwards in front of that took full advantage. Anything else on the game?
He was only beaten on the penalty kill, wasn't he? Their 3 goals were all power play goals.
Yeah.
It was.
So again, that's great work by the boys. Not on the PK, obviously, but 5-on-5 where most of the games played. That's very good work, shutting down an offensive team like Solihull. To shut that firepower down on a 5-on-5 is a great effort by them.
Yeah. The power plays, they were three power play goals on 5 opportunities. We scored no power goals on 1 power play all night. That's just a stat. That's just how the stats are. That's all we're saying. We're just saying the numbers as they are. Anything else on the game before we invite Carol to talk about post game?
I wasn't going to give a shout out to Jacob actually because it was a huge return to form, and he stood on his head and had an exceptional game. I'm not sure I buy the shots on goal stats too much because that second period didn't feel as one-sided as the stats seem to suggest. It didn't feel like that at all. But you just don't know with these things, do you? So yeah, massive shout out to Jacob. Great game.
18-8 the shot in the middle period if the stats are to be believed. And we won the period 3-2. So there you go. Right. Important topic now. Game's done. Great job, everybody. Post game, 3 points on the bus. Chippy update, Carol. We talked about the Solihull chippy fairly regularly, as much as most things.
We do. It's because it has to be done. Usually I go in there for a consoling bag of chips, but I was quite happy to go in for a celebratory bag of chips on Sunday, and they were well needed because I had to do a detour of bloody suburbs of Birmingham to get home on Sunday because the M42 was shut. So that the chips were well needed, and they were top as ever. Not going to mention Solihull's bar because they charge airport prices, ridiculous. But I will always give a shout out to the chippy because it was top.
And was it just plain chips, no toppings, no commitments, no
loads of salt? I think Vonnie had loads of salt and vinegar on hers. So yeah, just a big bag of chips.
Scraps? Butter? No.
I didn't fancy scraps, just the chips. You've got to taste them to believe them. You don't need a lot with these chips.
You left the scraps at the end of the first period with here all week. Fantastic. So we are going to do a Ring Food summer podcast. I've trailed that a couple of times. I think we should do that. Because there are some places around the league that do look after the fans and well worth a shout out. But yeah, so great job for the Billingham Stars. I say 5-3 win, a second successive win on the road, and sets them up for a weekend doubleheader coming up, which we'll talk about in a moment. What we'll do is we'll do a quick rundown of all the scores from week 28, the penultimate week of the regular season in your NIHL North Division 1. We'll get some stats and scores and stuff courtesy of Joe from NIHL Stats, nihlstats.wordpress.com. Scores, results, tables, stats, weekly sheets, as much information as you need or want. Fantastic job from Joe every week for the NIHL. So Saturday the 14th of March, Hull Jets 5, Widnes Wild 0. Wild shut out on the road. Kieran Beach with a hat-trick. Seemed to be somebody scoring a hat-trick for Hull Jets pretty much every week now. Kieran Beach, the turn this to hat-trick for him. Ian Kerman, Scott Morris, the other goals. 53-27, big shot differential as well. So Hull dominated that one. Telford Tigers 6, Deeside Dragons 9. Old-fashioned score. Deeside were dominating. Telford scored 4 in the third period to make it a bit closer, but a 9-6 win on the road for the Dragons. For the Telford Tigers, Jessen 4 for Vladimir Luka and Byrne, their scorers. And for Deeside, Kennedy with 4, Witkowski, Edwards, Cromie with 2, and Ethan Mayo. But a word about Jake Witkowski. He only scored 1 goal, but in the 9 goals, he added 8 assists. For the Heineken stuff from Witkowski, 1 + 8, his personal stat line. Vladimir Luka's 4 goals, not his best performance of the weekend, which we'll talk about in a second. Sheffield 2, Solihull 11. We knew Sheffield were already cast adrift, and this was This was on pad 2 at Sheffield, so it was even stuck. Even they didn't want them on the main pad at Ice Sheffield. 11-2, 73 shots for the Barons. A 6-0 final period, putting the icing on that one. 6 goals for Nicholas Otterson, 2 for Alex White, 2 for Dan Mulcahy, and 1 for Phil Mulcahy. Chard and Scott, the scorers for Sheffield. And that was Saturday. So Otterson obviously got his fill of goals. Didn't because he knew he wasn't going to get any on Sunday because he was playing Avalon. Solihull 3, Billingham 5, as we've talked about. Leeds Knights, we don't have the full stats, but Leeds Knights 2, Telford Tigers 2, 13, and Vladimir Luka scored 4 on Saturday. He went quite a bit better. He scored 7 out of Telford's 13. He has broken Ian's goal scoring record by scoring 11 goals this weekend. Everybody was trailing Wachowski because Wachowski was edging closer, and Vladimir obviously just went, no, sad that I'm going to do it all in one go. 11 goals in a weekend. So he is currently the record goal scorer for our division. So well done to him. A strong performance as expected from Telford down at Leeds, which as we also said, kind of puts the end of the playoff race. Final game of the weekend, Nottingham 6, Sheffield 2. Goals from Croston, Fisher, Woodward, and 3 from Birchnell for Nottingham. 2 goals from Sheffield from Williams and Cutts, which means with 1 weekend to go, your league table, the Hawks, with 1 game left, have 93. Dragons are secure now in second place with 79 points. Solihull third, 71. Telford fourth with 71. Their head-to-head will go down to the last weekend of the season. Billingham in fifth with 59 points from 34 games. Hull Jets have 52 from 34. Then it's Widnes on 33, 1 game left. Nottingham 31 with 1 game left. And Leeds 21 points, they're out of it with 34 games. And Sheffield just 1 game left with 6 points. So as we say, the top 8 are fixed. There still could be a little bit of movement. Deeside are set now in second, but everyone else, their places are up for grabs. So even as far as Nottingham could overtake Widnes for 7th. So still plenty to go this weekend. Shall we play our game of if the playoffs happen this weekend?
Go for it.
It would be, as things currently stand, Blackburn v Nottingham, Telford v Billingham, Deeside v Widnes, and Solihull versus Hull. Which again, we always said there's been a few tasty looking fixtures. If things could still change heading into the weekend, but we keep an eye on results. It'll be one of those weekends where you're watching your game, but always watching other results on the phone. So an interesting weekend in prospect. But of week 28, Carol, anything catching your particular eye?
A good old-fashioned shootout in Telford. 9-6 to Deeside. I'm going to guess Jake Witthouse must have been on the ice for about 95% of that if he's had a hand in every single goal, and there's 9 of them. I want to say what a bright future that kid Luca's got. An absolute ton of goals this weekend for a young, sprightly lad as he is.
He's free agent as well because he's leaving Telford apparently, so he could be up for grabs for anybody.
Well, there you go.
Who's there in your development?
I mean, you do have to look at Telford Tigers have scored 19 goals this weekend and only got 3 points, which is just kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. But then they were playing Leeds on Sunday, who I think have just given up and gone, well, we can't make playoffs, so we're just not going to bother with this one. Because that does stand out.
Senior Knights have took a lot of players, haven't they, this year?
Yeah.
Senior Knights have took a lot of players this year.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the good old-fashioned shootout in Telford caught the eye. I was, again, slightly nervous for us on Saturday night when I saw Solihull had piled a load past Sheffield. But I just think those two teams at the bottom of, their season's done, and they're probably playing a little bit like their season's done as well. So the rest is kind of, we're all battling it out now for places. And I'm sure when we come on to discuss this coming weekend's games, you're absolutely right. We're going to be sat on Sunday watching our team play Deeside, but refreshing the phones like mad, seeing how other games are going.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do the fixtures for the weekend in a second. Jonathan, do you know anything? I nearly called you a full Sunday in there, Jonathan.
Yeah, so what did I do wrong? What have I done wrong? No, nothing.
Anything from afar that you've spotted?
No, I think everything went as fully expected. And maybe Widnes getting shut out was a bit of a, didn't expect that. But no, I think as results-wise, everything has gone the way you fully expect it. I mean, I suppose if you're an outsider, you'd probably say the biggest shock result of the weekend would be us beating Solihull in Solihull, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was certainly the biggest shot for our Solihull listeners who took to social media to say that we listened to us be disappointed on the podcast all season, and then that's hotty for you. Welcome to the NIHL. So this weekend then, so the final weekend of the regular season, on Saturday, it is Deeside Dragons versus Billingham Stars, Hull Jets versus Solihull Barons, Telford Tigers versus the Blackburn Hawks, and then the bottom two finish their regular season in Leeds 2 versus the Sheffield Scimitars, and then Sunday, Billingham versus Deeside, the second half of the back-to-back, and then the game we'll be watching on, Solihull versus Telford, Widnes play Hull, and Nottingham play Leeds. So that those last two fixtures, so if Nottingham take points and Widnes don't, then Nottingham will head up to 7th and avoid probably what they want to do and avoid the Blackburn playoff series. So we shall see. Obviously, all of the games, as usual, we'll report next week. But if you're following online over the weekend, as we do, make sure you have phones fully charged and keep those thumbs you're ready. What was I going to say? So fixtures, thanks to Joe and NIHL Stats. I say follow on nihlstats.wordpress.com. There's just so much information on all 5 divisions. He does national as well, but all 4 regional divisions of the NIHL. As many stats as you could possibly need. Thanks to Joe for all of what he does. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back and talk about our final weekend, the doubleheader with the Deeside Dragons, away Saturday and home on Sunday. We'll try and refresh ourselves about what a home game involves. And then we've got a couple of bits of any other business to finish off as well. But do stay with us on your favourite Billingham Stars podcast. This is STARCAST.
This episode is brought to you by Thor's Ice Cream, the best ice cream menu in Billingham. Find them at the rink on game days and pick from their range of amazing desserts, including the Biscoff brownie and the famous whippy trays, with a choice of amazing toppings. Supporters of the Stars and Buccaneers and proud partners of STARCAST. Find Thor's Ice Cream on social media.
Welcome back to STARCAST, the final section of this weekend's pod as we head into the final weekend of the regular season, a Deeside doubleheader for your Billingham Stars away at the Deeside Leisure Centre on Saturday 5:15, and then back home at, checks notes, Billingham Forum Ice Arena. Haven't been there for a while. Sunday at 5:30. We'll see what happens when we come around to that. But yeah, Deeside, played them a couple of times obviously already. Saving the last 2 games for this doubleheader. Carol, your thoughts? We've seen the kind of season they've had with the cup and the second place and the goals galore. Jake scoring as we know he can, and seems to be putting the effort in most weeks this year as well. So, what's your thoughts on the Deeside Dragons and the challenge we will face this weekend?
It's going to be really tough. I do think if Deeside had hit their stride a little bit sooner, we might still be talking about a title race, because I don't know if everybody's memories stretch back that far, but the beginning of the season, Deeside were really inconsistent. They seemed to be able to do it on their own ice, but then not do it when they went on the road. And that's really cost them, because this second half of the season, they've got into a groove. They've won a trophy. And I do think if they'd found that groove just a little bit earlier in the season, they might have been more of a challenge to Blackburn. They have got talent throughout the lineup, but obviously the guy at the top of the tree is the one that everybody talks about. Big Jake hasn't got the goal scoring record, but he's not too far behind. And he's got a gazillion assists as well. So he's still the guy to watch out for. The problem that they had last season was always their defence. I don't think they've entirely solved that problem this season. It's still something they should probably look at in the summer. Tyler Dillabadouche has been very good, but he has had the odd off game, and I think their goals against column is probably still much higher than they'd like it to be. That said, they are more than a match for absolutely any team in this league. So this weekend's going to be really, really tough. And I'd say Deeside are probably wanting an absolutely full-on tilt at the playoffs. I think they've got their eye on that trophy, so they just like everybody else, they need the form going into the playoffs, and no better time to get it than a home and home against the previous champions. So let's see, but it is. Make no mistake, it's going to be tough. We've got what is it? One's a piece win wise this season, so. Yeah, let's see if we get a repeat. But it's going to be tough.
I mean, looking at their scoring charts, obviously Wachowski's there, 63 goals, 70 assists, 133 points in 34 games. But they've got the supporting cast this year. So you've got Ross Kennedy on 91, you've got Cromie on 85, Barlow on 55, Dickinson on 50, Rhys Edwards on 45 points, Ethan Mayo from defence 28 points. So they've got that supporting cast all the way down, which is maybe what they didn't have last year. And about the netminding, we talked about Tyler, DLB. I saw Deeside I was in Nottingham a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, for a game in the morning for the Health for Heroes, and they were on at the lunchtime slot, and I saw Coach Clancy as we were leaving and they were coming in. And I think we agreed. Tyler obviously moved up to Deeside this season from he'd been playing down south, and I think he struggled to settle for the first few months, 2-3 months. Maybe his figures over the season, he's on an 8.99 save percentage, but I think if you look at him for the second half of the season, his figures will be considerably better than that. If you take out the cup final, which he won a cup final by scoring conceding 15 goals or whatever it was, but ignore that. I think. He's the second half of the season. That coincides with what you were saying, Carol, about their running. If they've managed to do that earlier, who knows? So, as we said at the start of the season, a lot of their guys they signed them on multiple year contracts. So this could only be year one of their project. And if they kick on, keep the guys together, and keep the momentum from this season to the next, they could be a real handful for everybody in the division next year. Jono.
Yeah, for me, I think they'll have. It'll literally be down on the accelerator thing. They know they've got the Blackburn's number this year from the Morley semi-final, and then gone on to win the cup. So I think they'll know that you could argue that they possibly be the favourites for the playoffs, having Blackburn's number. So they'll be fully aware of what they're capable of and what they could probably set out to achieve this year by a cup and playoff double. But they're also played up against a Billingham team that has a lot to prove now as well. We went into a tough barn and won. On our day, playing at our best, I still don't think anybody beats us. Not even Blackburn, not even in Solihull. And that's been few and far between this year. It's had moments. It's shown signs of what we can do and what we can be. But if we can put another 60-minute performance at our very best, it'll be just a fantastic game, a weekend of hockey for that matter, but it'll also get us set up for the playoffs in very, very good stead. I believe both teams will probably go into this game as a playoff game to set that tone and set that marker, ready for the real thing the week after. Because what you don't want to do in a nothing game, because let's be honest, there's nothing on it. Things aren't going to change between the two teams in the standings. Is just take your foot off the gas, meander around, pick up an injury or something daft happens or you lose form. So both teams won't want that to happen. So I think the game's going to be 100 mile an hour from the first puck drop. It's going to be a playoff-like type game from both. As I said, not to rule us out. I think we are a dark horse for the playoffs. It's still our title at the end of the day until it's not. But Deeside have set a stall by taking that first piece of silverware this year. And knowing that they've got Blackburn's number, they probably think that they can make it in the playoffs as well.
Yeah. No, it's 100%. We'll see what happens. And if they are going down to Deeside on Saturday, I know they've had a big push this season, like a few clubs in the division. Their attendances, particularly second half, have been really strong as well. They've had a few sellouts at the Deeside Leisure Centre as well. So if you are going down, expect a full barn, a noisy barn. And they've got a special interval attraction this weekend as well. They've got the bubble football. So yeah, players dressed in the bubble, and much hilarity and insurance claims will ensue. But yeah, if you're going down, enjoy that. Usual rules apply. Now this Sunday malarkey. So apparently we need to go to the Forum of Billingham on Sunday, and we watch our team at our rink. How does that work?
I don't know. I've kind of got used to climbing in my car and sampling the delights of the motorway network.
It'd be nice not to hump the equipment around miles for a change.
I was thinking we should get the guys picked up at like the Wolverson service or something, and get a coach in just for the hell of it, since they're so used to it. But yeah, no, it's going to be great being back at the Forum. 5:30 face off. I was going to say as usual, but we haven't done it since the 14th of February, so I cannot say usually. But yeah, the usual 5:30. I believe doors are around 4:30. It will be a busy one. I say first home game for 5-6 weeks. Home regular season finale as well. So expecting a big one. I would expect a few travelling fans from Deeside as well for their finale. As I say, as John has said, the season they're having big travelling support from them as well. So I expect it to be busy. All the usual things going on. And the game and all the associated bits and pieces with it. So 5:30 face off at the Forum Ice Arena Sunday. It's going to be great to be back, seeing everybody ringside, and getting a home game experiences again just before hopefully a long playoff run. Anything else on Deeside? I know you've got something. Any other business? Do you want to do that now, Carol? Obviously, they're doing. Both teams this weekend are doing some charity bits and pieces during their home games as well.
Yeah. So quite rightly, teams are putting spotlights and have been for various seasons now on mental health and charities that support mental health. And both games this weekend, you will see charities in that kind of sphere. So I believe on Saturday, Deeside have invited their branch of Andy's Man Club to the game, which that's a charity that's well known to us. You know, we've hosted Andy's Man Club Stockton this year, and I do believe there is an Andy's Man Club Billingham branch now.
Just opened.
Yeah. So Andy's Man Club is an excellent charity. Does an awful lot of work specifically for men's mental health. So if you are travelling on Saturday, please do say hello to the guys if you see them. And you know, if you've got one of those wristbands, the black ones that we all got from our branch, then you might want to think about wearing them and showing a little bit of solidarity. And then on Sunday, our home game, we are hosting a local charity, a Stockton-based charity called Red Balloons, who offer peer support for people suffering with problems with their mental health, and specifically they host walks in the region where people, you don't have to talk, but you can just go along and walk with people who are trained to listen. Basically, you don't have to say anything, but just go along, have a walk, have an experience in the outdoors, get some fresh air, and if you do want to talk, then there are people there to listen. So, and then that is a local charity. They're not. I'm sure there are other similar charities in other areas of the country, but this is very specifically a Stockton-based charity, a lived experience charity, who are providing that support to any adult who in the region who needs it, really. So if you do think that that's something that might be of interest to you, and you just want to find out a little bit more, then please do go along and talk to the people that are there, that are going to be there from Red Balloons. If you feel able to provide some support for them, then please do so. But a local charity doing fantastic work in our community.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And it's, as we've said several times on this and another outlet, it's a huge part of what Billingham ice hockey is about, the community, all being about Billingham, Stockton, that kind of area, all for supporting each other and helping. So we welcome Red Balloons on Sunday, and I say if you are there on Saturday, say hello to AMC as well. We've kind of slid into any other business with that. We will say the usual, obviously the presentation night tickets are still on sale. It's the 24th of April, Friday night at the Synthonia Suites. If you email Alan, if you want to get yourself along, £25, two-course meal, all of the club awards, and just meet and greet with the players and the staff and the fans to recognise the season. The Steel City Showdown, which we're also talking about, those tickets are still on sale as well. 11th and 12th of April at Ice Sheffield. If you're going, we're in Block 7. So again, look on England Ice Hockey, follow the links, and get yourself a ticket for the great weekend to end off the NIHL North and South season. 4 championship games on a Saturday, 2 national championship games on a Sunday. Just fantastic hockey. As if last year has anything to go by, it will be long, it will be tiring, but it will be fantastic. So Steel City Showdown, much recommended. Jono, as the sun has completely left him on the northeast coast,
it's gone now.
Red car.
Went quicker than Blackburn's Grand Slam hopes a bit. So yeah, Spotters Club
Went there, folks. He went there.
Full throttle on Sunday for the Spotters Club. We will have sale items on there as well. Obviously, I think you've seen the post got this week in returns in regards to like the towels, the golf towels, the expertly modelled shorts are also available, so get your orders in for them. Sockies if you want them for the summertime. Get those orders in. But yeah, full throttle for the Sports Club this Sunday. It's been a while, but yeah, lots of cash. Bring lots of cash because lots of stuff available for you.
Or your card reader will work as well.
The card reader does work, but cash is king.
Cash is king, but yeah, we're not. Any payments welcome. Yeah, no, it'll be great to see. A busy table.
Not all payments are taken.
A busy table on the Supporters Club on Sunday.
Raffle tickets. So yeah, raffle tickets for the warm-up jerseys, and I believe the Supporters Club Player of the Year vote will be coming out as well.
Yeah, and we'll be doing February's Player of the Month, I think, this week.
And February's Player of the Month, yeah.
Anyway, because we haven't been there since February the 14th. I don't know if we mentioned that. We haven't had a home game since February the 14th, so a lot of catching up to do. So pop by and see your Supporters Club on Sunday as well. Be delighted to see you. Last piece of any other business. Anything else before we talk about our stripy friends? Have I missed anything? I think
we just stop talking about the NHL, please, because it's fast.
It's the exciting time of the year, guys. Come on.
I 100% agree.
The playoff push is on.
No, I 100% agree.
What's a playoff?
Nothing's happened since the Olympic break. Certainly not a team losing 8 straight games and then having their top forward injured for the rest of the season. That's not happened since the playoffs, since the Olympics. So yeah, NHL free zone continues.
Thank
All
you.
in favour. Yeah.
Bring on the playoffs is what I say.
Don't even know what one of those is.
Yeah.
It's all right. We just traded our best defenseman for past 17 years. So,
Yeah, at least you got more than a bag of pucks for him.
That's
number one
true.
centre has been injured by the team who you traded your defenseman to.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, for a 5-game ban.
5 games for that, by the way. Jesus.
Have we covered all we need to cut before we finish off with that discussion topic? I think we've covered everything we need.
I think so.
So we'll put it on the docket because there's a few been a few talking points this weekend. We mentioned the officiating in the Billingham game at Solihull, the non-call, which provoked the reaction, which then provoked the call on Solihull. There's been other things on social media about officiating as well. Just have a little discussion. I mean, we're not going to solve it tonight on this podcast. But just have a thing about a discussion about the issues that you've seen this season and where we think the issues maybe lie. Carol, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I think I'll just briefly go back to that Solihull game because it did encapsulate a few issues for me. Very interesting after the game to read some of the comments where Solihull fans thought Mr. Ryder was biased towards the Stars, which I laughed about at first. And then I thought, well, if you're looking at it with Solihull glasses on, he was particularly poor on Sunday night and for both teams. I'm not entirely sure that either team can claim he was biased one way or the other because I think he just wasn't up to the job. And it kind of encapsulated the season for me. I think we all have to be very brutal here and just say we've got a problem at our level where the standard of officiating doesn't match the standard of the play that we're seeing. And we're talking about this far too often now. We shouldn't be taught. The best games are the ones where you don't even mention the refs because you haven't even noticed them because because they've done what they were there to do. And week after week, I try not to do this because believe you me, I've had that feedback from regular watchers that possibly mention referees a little bit too much, but that it can't get around the fact that they're just massive talking points every week. There is no getting around the fact that Lewis Allen's hit on Ethan McLaughlin on Sunday was awful, and Mr. Ryder was not going to call it until Darren stepped in. Now, for me, that's nowhere near good enough. You can't do that. He'd already missed a big one on Tom a little bit earlier, and I don't know what it is. We're not going to solve it because it's a kind of a deep-rooted problem. We've got a problem with recruitment because you want to encourage young officials into the sport and keep them. But they're being pushed through the system too quick because we don't have enough officials. And then you've got the problem of them getting abused and what have you. And they give it up because why would you want to spend your weekends doing that? But the flip side of that is they're not good enough. And you've got fans paying really good money to come and see their team every week and effectively having some games ruined by the officials. That's not right either. So we're stuck in this place. And I know we spoke about it a little bit before we came on air. I think the only real answer at the minute is to chuck some money at it because there's clearly a massive lack of education and training to get these guys up to standard. And how are we meant to recruit and attract new talent into officiating if there's nothing to attract them. You know, you've got to be able to offer the programs in the first place for them to develop and become good officials.
Yeah.
And we haven't got that. We haven't got the training programs in place properly. We've got massive gaps all over the country where there aren't enough officials. We're forcing through guys who aren't good enough and are too young, or we're relying on officials who are at a lower level and are having to step up to cover the fact that there aren't the people there. And I can see it from both sides. I massively see it from the ref side. You know, I saw a comment from Tory Boynton on socials, and you know, to a certain extent, he's dead right. You know, how are we supposed to attract young talent into this sport with the state of it as it is? However, I never like the argument about well, you lace them up and do it. It's not that simple. You can't not criticize refs just because they're lacing up and doing it. That's not right either. You have to accept some level of criticism, but at the same time, you have to be able to give those guys the opportunity to improve.
Yeah.
There's just
like I say, it's much bigger than what we can talk about tonight, but it's kind of bringing those points to the fore. John, you highlighted something again. It was kind of highlighted on social media about the appearance of, I don't want to say bias, but the appearance of a referee who was doing a team that he is involved with, and the kind of the optics of that, and you highlight that on social media as well.
Yeah, and I don't mind saying it was me that put out the conversation, and it was Mr. Shuttleworth who did the Telford game on Saturday. This is not about him. This is not about his ability to officiate a game. It's not about him and his knowledge of the game. But coming from an outsider looking in, from someone who is a qualified official himself in a different sport, I'm not allowed to do my club's teams. I'm not allowed to do them. Simple as that. I'm not even supposed to be doing the same division as them because it could be a conflict of interest. So when you see an official who is so in with his club, he does announcing, he's done interviews, he is a Telford through and through guy, and they have no qualms with that. But there is no way he should be accepting games, in my personal opinion, of that team. Even if he has the most perfect game, you're going to have fans walking away questioning his loyalties. It's just natural. It is just natural, and it can't be helped. So to take that away, just don't put him on those games. There is local. He's in a location where he's local to other places, whether it's Coventry, Solihull, Nottingham. There is closer places to him where he can not just be on Telford games. I don't know the reason why he was on that game, but that's Ice Hockey UK's problem, and their problems are big enough. Carol's mentioned it. It just needs more money. And if that's not enough, it needs to be more money. But I don't make those decisions and things like that. But we've got to make it easier for officials. So not putting them in them situations, for one. He only just thought, yeah, I'll do that game, not a problem. I'm helping him out. He probably didn't even take his match fees or whatever because we know how expensive they're getting. But it's not the point. It's just if you want this league to go somewhere, we're all under one brand now, or we're going to be under one brand since that's been voted in. We want the sport to look better to the public eye because it's been in the public eye a lot over the last 24 months, and not much of it very, very good. If you want it to look a better product and bring big sponsors in and make it much better for TV, you unfortunately can't have a situation where you've got a referee in his Telford shirt putting it all over his social media for fans to see far and wide, and then him do games of his local club. It just can't happen. And maybe it's not his fault, but when those fixtures get sent out, he probably should be taking a one eye and then saying, you know what, in hindsight, I shouldn't really be doing that game.
Yeah. And
it's not about his ability. But
yeah. And to take on what Carol was saying earlier as well, looking on the comments on that Telford Deeside game, obviously Deeside felt he favoured Telford. Telford fans were saying he never favours because he's always against us. So again, the perception obviously is clouded by your own allegiance, but also it's the optics of a clearly Telford representative, or whatever you want to call them. Yes, he's their announcer for the national division team or what have you. He's a coach for the junior team, doing a game in Telford in the division. So it's the optics of that as well. And I will say I'm lucky enough. I've been worked with the referee section on numerous occasions at their annual conferences. And I think we all agree that the referees aren't deliberately favouring teams. They generally couldn't give a toss who wins. They want to do the game and they want to do it to the best they can. The referee section is massively underfunded in terms of recruitment, retention, training, coaching. I mean, the guy you mentioned, Paul Shuttleworth, he used to be a coach for Ice Hockey UK refs. He still does a bit, but because they don't have the budget to send coaches and support referees all over the country, he's not been able to do that for the last year or so. So, as you say, it is money, but it's also a mindset from fans, from players, from coaches. As Carol says, there's the criticism. Yes, you can criticize their decisions, their performance, but when criticism borders into abuse, either at the rink or online or whatever, that's where it's causing issues. And that's, as Carol says, we've had referees over the last couple of years. The courses have been run. The number of referees who've attended those courses have been numerous, but the ones following through and signing up and actually then doing league games for more than a year isn't following through because of what they're getting on those games. So I think everybody needs to take a step, to take a breath, to take a look. We need the officials. We need them ideally fully trained at the right level. But at the minute, that's just a pipe dream. As John says, it's money, but the money needs to be invested rightly in training. I say that they've got one big event every year where the coaches do where the referees do their skating tests and rules briefings and things like that. But they need more support than that. So we do support the officials. We appreciate it's difficult. But at times, as has been highlighted, the incidents this weekend, sometimes they're perhaps not helping themselves in the way it's perceived, in the way it looks, but also as watchers and supporters of the game, we need to play our part as well, and everybody support everybody, and peace and love and all that.
Peace and love and all that. Yeah, I do get it. I just think we have talked way too much about referees this season, and it's all symptomatic of them not getting enough support and enough training to get them to the level they need to be. I think there's just a gap between how fast the league's developed and how fast the officials have developed, and bridging that gap is going to take resource. It's going to take money. It's going to take time. And if I were the people who are in charge of making this merger happen and putting priorities against where some of this, the access to the funding that they're now going to be able to get, I would be earmarking a massive chunk of that to the refereeing section.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think as well, I know a lot of clubs whinging about mileage and referees' fees, but if they were to put up to a much higher price to attract officiating. If the officiating is of a good standard, they wouldn't moan. Clubs wouldn't moan if the officiator was at a standard where they think, bloody hell, I'm going to pay this guy this much and he's travelling from here and we know what we're going to get. We're going to have 10 penalties, 4 of them are going to be abuse, blah, 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 blah. And that will get put to bed even if the prices went up, if the fees went up. Fees go up, it's going to attract more officials. Mm-hmm. But you're going to get a better standard because there's more of them, because they're all going to be vying for those big games, those top spots. If there's only 15 spots in Division 1 and there's 20 officials, you're going to get a bit of competition going. And that's how it needs to be with the officiating.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, maybe worth putting a call out to Rico and do a follow-up. Obviously, we had Colin Davison, who was the chief referee. We had him on last year.
We did.
Maybe worth a follow-up and maybe leave that at the end of the season, but certainly get Rico back on and have a chat with him. I'm sure he's always happy to talk.
Yeah.
All things team stripes.
Best dude after playoff weekend. I think I tuned here after about 3 a.m. last year. So,
well, if you do that again, just record it and then we'll publish it. That'll be fine.
But no, yeah, this is not about anti-bashing referees, but we understand that they need so much money and so much more support. But I think there's still a lot of basic support that they're not getting that they could possibly do with. And they also just need to help themselves, whether it's just putting them on the right fixture in the right location can go a long way. But yeah, it will improve. That merger is only going to be a positive thing, and it will improve, and it will take time. You need to start probably helping themselves more than anything else. Like that incident, I wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure Ryder would have been looking at it because it was the only incident that was going on. It was around the puck. If he was unsure, call it anyway. Cover your backside. They hit the lad in the head. If he went away and had serious head injuries and nothing else was called, he would have been in a lot of bother. It's a head shot. Just call it anyway. If it's wrong, you can downgrade it later. No one's going to begrudge that. But just to ignore it is dangerous, and then it leads to a fight, which I know fans love fights, but no, it probably shouldn't really happen as much as it does at our level.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. So I don't know what our conclusion was there, but yes, we love Team Stripes. We love you, but we just like you to be better, and we know we can be better as well. But yeah, no, we'll get Rico on at the end of the season and have a chat and get his perspective on things as well. So as you both said, the merger is a huge opportunity to invest in the things that are needed. So thanks for that chat. It's very worthwhile. I say the big issues. Obviously, it is talked about a lot on social. It's one of the things you see on every game. Actually,
on the back of that merger, hasn't Henry Starlins put something out today in regards there's going to be a big interview coming out with the BBC?
Yeah.
So that's worth to keep an eye on. Something to do with ice rinks, I believe. I haven't read the full thing myself, but I've seen a post.
Yes, it's his biggest interview since he appeared on STARCAST.
STARCAST BBC. Yeah.
What was the last interview before the merger? The vote went through after our interview. Therefore, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a big interview coming out, which we're probably going to have all of our eyes and ears.
It was something about ice rinks and the need for ice rinks. So, we'll keep an eye. If we see it, obviously we'll share it on social media. Thanks everybody. We'll do a veil over everything there. We've just ticked over the hour mark. But a great discussion. I say one we'll revisit at the end of the season with those in the positions that matter. Thank you to everybody who's been listening and watching STARCAST throughout the season. There's a couple of weeks left of the regular season. They're into playoffs, and how far that goes for your Billingham Stars, who knows? But thanks to everybody who watches and listens and shares and does all of those things, particularly our outreach groups in Solihull and places like that. Evening again. Much appreciated. All the likes and shares. We'll keep doing it as much as we can. If you do that, liking and sharing stuff, it helps us as well. So thanks for that. Big thank you to Carol and to Jono. You can just about still see him as the sun has completely disappeared from his Saltburn residence on sea. If you listen very carefully, you can hear the funicular railway in the background. But thanks to Carol and Jono for your input as always. We'll see you. Are you at training, Jono? Or are you back? Are you just back for the games?
Just back for the games. So I'll see you all in Wales on Saturday.
Right. Safe travel home up the road. Carol, we'll see you at training this week. We'll play spot the training colour jersey and see what delights await us this weekend. Deeside, Saturday, 5:15 at Deeside Leisure Centre. If you're travelling, usual rules apply. And then Sunday, a home game at the Forum Ice Arena, 5:30. Big crowd, first home game for a few weeks. So big crowd. We'll see you there on Sunday. But for now, we'll stop there. I've talked far too much. This has been your Billingham Stars podcast for your Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars. This has been STARCAST. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching and listening to STARCAST. Follow us on social media and remember to subscribe and leave a review on your podcast platform.